What is going on, guys, and welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 8, take 2. We have sound this time around, at least we believe so. We're waiting for the okay from our sound engineer, Ryan Brown. He's going to give us the all clear, and then we're going to be good to go. But anyway, I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I'm your other wonderful Brown co-host, Shaquille Brown, here with y'all live.
Yes, he is. We took an introductory shots on take 1 to celebrate Donald Trump losing the presidential election, but we're not going to take another shot again. So, I mean,
you're trying to make it to the show like one smooth.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and get the clearance from our engineer here.
Engine in the booth.
And I'm going to assume that it's all good. Say something. What do you mean? I'm talking right now. This is episode 8, folks. No, are you sure it's not?
You got your headphones in my head. Is it volume above 0?
Because I just checked on my end and I could hear everything. Anyway, I'm gonna check again on my phone this time just to make sure. Turn this down so I don't get. Yeah, I can hear. For the audio listeners, you're like, what the hell is going on? You really have just absolutely no idea. But
oh, God bless our engineer.
I just want to make sure we're not just talking to ourselves right now. Yeah, this is the stream on the phone. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Anyway, Ryan, we need a new sound engineer.
Good opening.
Anyway, Shaq, how was your week been?
Oh, wonderful, successful, wins in almost every department.
That's good to hear. But folks at home, if you hear like some weird notifications in the background, it's just from it's from our engineer. He's trying to get his head on straight here. Anyway, so for the rundown for today, we have recapping last week. We're going to give the L's of the week. Then we're going to predict next week in the NFL, and then of course round it out with Duel, our fantasy lineups. So yeah, we're gonna kick it right off with the recap from last week, and that's going to start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting shellacked on national TV Sunday Night Football. The Saints took a fat L. People on Spotify, I want to thank you all for even listening to us on Spotify or wherever, Slacker or whatever, or Stitcher, not Slack. This is just too funny. Anyway, yeah, the Saints gave out a big L to the Bucks. Any opening thoughts on this one?
Definitely not what we predicted. What would happen for this game? What a shame. I expected it to be a much more competitive game. The fact that they could only throw up 3 points. 3. Not even a touchdown. 3 points in this game. Antonio's first game, and
yeah, it was a bit strange. A lot of hype going into this one. I think I skipped around. This was, I think, supposed to be in the L's category, but Oh, Ryan has me cracking up right now. Folks, if you're gonna get somebody to give you the okay, make sure they're reliable.
And they know how to operate technology. Newer than 1992.
Anyway, okay. So yeah. This is kind of, the order of this is kind of out of whack, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so the Saints have now won both their games against the Bucks this year, which is really nothing new. But at the same time, this might come back to haunt the Bucks come the postseason. But the Bucks were just awful this game. They looked even worse than they did the first time they played the first game of the season. They were just forcing passes down the field. It seemed like a lot of Tom Brady just trying to force the ball to Antonio Brown, which is not a good thing. That never really works out. They set the record for the lowest amount of rushing attempts in an NFL game. They had like 4 or 5, and everything else was a pass, which was crazy.
They still got to run the ball.
Yeah, right. Like, I know you have every single weapon in the NFL, but I mean, come on.
Exactly. Just because you have a smart laser doesn't mean to be using it. You can use everything else in your arsenal first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Mike Evans, that connection between him and Tom Brady still is not quite there, because clearly it was there with Jameis Winston and Mike Evans, but now Tom Brady just does not seem to get him the ball as much as you would think that he would, seeing that, I mean, coming into this year, he was like their best player, which is kind of odd. I don't know if that's something that they're working on, or if if that's just because, I mean, Tom has always kind of been that way. Like, he has his guys that he goes to repeatedly, and then there's just other guys where he might hit them every now and then. So I'm not sure if that's going to stay that way, or if he intends on changing that to at least try and get him the ball more. But I don't know. What do you think about the Mike Evans, the lack of Mike Evans being targeted?
I think maybe it's personal type of thing, where it's kind of like, I'm gonna try to feed my Patriots 2.0 team,
yeah,
and try to guide it out of the old school Bucks people. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just a weird thing. That I still think this team is still in the middle of their whole, still trying to vibe and connect with each other type of thing. So.
Right. Yeah, and they just added another new player, so that throws another wrench into the chemistry. But
I think they're doing too much with the whole change up of things.
Yeah, right. Because, I mean, you're already brand new quarterback to lead the offense, and then now you're bringing, new tight end, new wide receiver. So it's just I'm sure they will figure it out
at some point.
But Tom Brady did play. I mean, he played terrible. I think he threw like 3 picks. One of them was just, I wouldn't put it on him, but the other 2 were just terrible. I don't see him playing this badly again for the rest of the year. This has to be the low point.
Destroy their season this year.
Yeah.
With their rebuilding process.
Right. Yeah. Like these kinks, hopefully they can get them worked out like now, because the later that you wait to the worse. Yeah. Yeah. To me, like, at the end of the day, it came down to just simple division rivalry between, obviously, being Tampa and New Orleans. That's a big rivalry right there. But at the end of the day, the Saints have owned that rivalry year after year after year after year, and this was just a reminder of, we're still the Saints, you guys are still the Buccaneers.
Things don't change.
Right.
The team and people on the team, but for some reason,
yeah, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, you can get Tom Brady, you can bring New England South down here. We don't care. You're still the Buccaneers, and we're still going to beat you.
Yes, unfortunately, y'all better get used to getting that wild card if y'all already want.
Right. I saw like the playoff picture if it were to start today, and I think the Bucks would be the 5th seed. Interestingly enough, because they'd be the first wild card team. So it's just a really weird situation. But anyway, yeah, so Bucs Saints, we called it completely wrong, although I'm sure a lot of people called that game completely wrong, because nobody saw that one coming. But anyway, moving on to what was supposed to be the first topic of the day. I got thrown off because our sound was not on. But anyway, the Steelers defeating the Cowboys 24-19 at Jerry World. What a weird, but highly entertaining game that was. What are your opening thoughts?
My emotions were all over the place for this game. I was happy. I was mainly upset 90% of the game up until 4th quarter. we did not play the game the way that I wanted us to play. Granted, we did win, so I'm happy about that. But I was like, we cannot play like this again. Because if you're screwing up like this to the Cowboys at this pace,
I know.
in this matter, we got to change. I don't know what they had going for them that week, but they got to change that around.
Yeah. I wouldn't. To me, it wasn't so much like a panic situation. It seemed a lot just like the Steelers overlooking, like, it's it's the Cowboys, whatever. We'll just blow right through them. But I will say, Garrett Gilbert, it's Garrett, yeah. He didn't look bad. He actually looked okay. I'm not gonna say he looked good, but he looked okay.
Yes.
I have no idea what the Cowboys' intentions are with this man. I wish nothing but the best for him, but it was looking like the Steelers were going to lose the game. I will say it was.
Like, it would be up to us to lose the first game to the Cowboys. That
Yeah.
wins the season.
Yeah.
Special teams is dreadful. And
Yeah, between special teams not making really any just normal stop that a special teams would make, the defense allowing Garrett Gilbert to just march down the field, and then Big Ben having that injury scare at the end of the first half.
I was done.
Yeah. So so apparently he injured both of his knees that game, which I don't know how you do, which is why this sign is here. So he's right now on the Steelers IR list, which is just like kind of funny, but
People tend to blow up both knees. What's there?
I don't know if I've ever heard of that happening. Somebody injuring both knees in one game.
Got that Derrick Rose knee. It's all right. He'll sort it out. My thing is, I think they will play him come Cincinnati, at least the first beginning part of the game. And if they take control early in the game, I see them sitting him. This could be part of the season where they try to probably throw in Rudolph a little bit more.
Yeah, I see them come Sunday. I think you're just gonna take this week off. At least if I was the coach, I'm like, all right, it's the Bengals. You just take a week off. Mason Rudolph has enough experience to go out here and probably beat the Bengals for us.
I'm hoping so. I mean, I'm okay if he comes over to take out the game, but I mean, I would be like, hey, go out there, give us a 1-2 score cushion, run out there, and then he take the rest of that game off. But
yeah.
I'm just in the luckily it is the Bengals. We got the Bengals, and I forget who we play next, but we got this week and next week before we hit the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't remember who you guys play next.
So I was like, at least with this 2 weeks off before we hit the Ravens, try to rest him up a little bit before because he has to play the Ravens.
Yeah. That's the thing with that team. Will only go as far as Big Ben takes them, which I mean, I guess you could say that about any quarterback, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Like, that is unfortunate. One man doesn't make a team, but that case and scenario, if he goes down, that offense is gone.
Forget about it. Yeah. So very strange game. Cowboys. Okay, so a very common thing I'm hearing from probably Cowboy fans. It was fourth quarter comes around. There were a few questionable calls made that favored the Steelers. Did you find anything strange about anything that was like, that's kind of bad?
The Cowboys, when you have a bad team, of course. I feel like the Cowboys are just notorious for making bad choices and mistakes.
Yeah, that's
in games, so it's kind of like, of course.
Right. There was a no call. It should have been a pass interference call on Amari Cooper or whoever was covering Amari Cooper. And then there was, I think it was called roughing the passer on Big Ben when it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of iffy. Roughing the passer to me is always kind of like holding now. It's like it could, anytime they touch a quarterback now, it could be roughing the passer.
My thing is, I'm iffy about that too. It's like if you're in forward momentum, he gets rid of the ball. When you're a 6'6", 6'5", 300-pound defensive lineman, it's hard to stop
running downhill
after a certain point. So it's kind of like I see why guys get upset about that and how roughing the passer is, but at the same time, you also don't want people back in the day who used to slam these quarterbacks.
Right.
You don't want that either.
Yeah, Listen, I'm a New England Patriots fan. Believe me, we've had our fair share of great calls go our way. To me, it just comes down to it seems to always balance it out in a game, and it sucks when it's the game's on the line in the fourth quarter. But I guarantee you, if you go back and watch the entire game through, there were probably a couple either missed calls or calls that favored the Cowboys earlier in the game, and then like it usually will balance itself out. Like if there's some bad calls on one team, the refs will make some bad calls on the other team, and it just kind of works out that way. Yeah, and right, and there's that too, where it's like you probably shouldn't have put yourself into that situation to begin with. But
end of the day, I think it comes down to win your games early, or at least come out explosive at the beginning of the game. So at the end of the fourth quarter, hopefully it's not a close game, or it's you're not in a situation where it's important.
That one call is going to decide, if you win or lose.
Don't put yourself in a situation where you're down by 3 points or up by 3 points, and every single call counts. Come out explosive and take the refs out of the game.
Yeah, true that. I fully agree. I think it probably angered the Cowboy fans more because they felt like we were right there. Like if we just had that one call, we would have beat them. And it's like maybe not. I don't know. I can't play the if game. So
Cowboy fans live in a state of anger. Right. And secondly, unfortunately, it's because of the division so bad that they can only have 2 wins this so far this season. Still, for some reason,
in the playoff hunt.
It's weird as hell. Like a wrong division, if you have 2 wins, your season's done.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's no stupid. So anyway, moving along. Props to the Steelers remaining undefeated. We will see. It's looking pretty good for them.
Until I feel like our first loss is gonna come to the part 2 of the Ravens.
Possibly.
So I see like them being more prepared for us. I'd be happy if I see them come back more prepared to play us.
Yeah, we'll see. So moving on to the next recap. This was the Monday night game. My Patriots finally breaking their 4-game losing streak, and we beat the Jets 30-27 at MetLife Stadium. Our defense gave up 27 points to the New York Jets. 27 large ones to Joe Flacco. New York Jets. Stephon Gilmore wasn't out there, which that takes a big piece away from our secondary. But still, it is still the Jets. And this really went to show, like, COVID really messed us up this year. I hate to keep harping on the COVID bug, but, I mean, half of our defense sat out at the beginning of the year because they, didn't want to risk it. And then basically our 2 best players got between Gilmore and Cam Newton. And then, so, I mean, to me, the defense is what really caught it, like, got the worst end of the stick. But, yeah, thank God that Cam developed some kind of a connection with Jacoby Myers, because if that didn't happen, we lose this game without a doubt, because he literally did not throw the ball to anybody else but Jacoby Myers. And thank you for finally deciding, you know what, I'm an NFL receiver. Let me go ahead and get some separation. Let me go ahead and catch this ball. Let me play like I want to be here, because it's just been, I was so ready to get rid of just about all of our wide receivers. Still am, to be honest. But it was just great to see Cam Newton be like, all right, I got a guy who I can just keep throwing the ball to. And that wouldn't have worked if our running game wasn't so effective that game, because I mean, it was just run. I mean, constant run. And then when we get into the big 3rd down, 4th downs, we had to air out the ball. Thank God Jacoby Myers was able to actually haul a few in. That was easily the best game he's played as a Patriot. Hope that keeps up. Whatever the hell him and Cam are doing in practice, keep doing it, because we need that. We need that big time. I have no idea if Edelman is going to even come back this year. But if not, Jacoby Myers, please keep doing your thing. And then, of course, Cam played really, really well, actually. He redeemed himself from the previous week. The biggest thing, did not turn over the ball one time, played a clean game, played really, really smart, got rid of the ball when he needed to. He ran when it felt appropriate, scored 2 rushing touchdowns, and, of course, led the game-winning Well, he set up the game-winning field goal, which was like a 52-yard field goal. It was no gimme, but Nick Folk, Big Dick Nick, getting the job done. So big props to him. But yeah, I know a lot of Pats fans are still like, we struggled to beat the Jets. Are you serious? But we finally snapped a losing streak. A win is a win. I know it was not a pretty one, but we got the job done. Remember, people, our defense was not what it should be. I mean, basically, the whole team's not what it should be. But the best part is that Cam looked good. But we needed a few gifts that game. The Jets did definitely get in their own way. If they didn't, probably end up losing that game. But the Jets are still the Jets. They made the mistakes in the fourth quarter that gave us the ball back. And, yeah, I hope we have the Ravens this Sunday night. So we're going to need a few miracles, not gifts. We're going to need some miracles on Sunday.
Jesus possess Cam at some point in the game, too.
Straight up. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
Like I said, a win's a win. You got to take where you can get it. Unfortunately, like you said, they struggled to beat the Jets.
We sure did.
Like I said, but broken team, so look, you get it where you can get it.
Yeah. There was a fourth quarter was crazy. We had this crazy long drive where it took up like, I want to say 8 or 9 minutes, maybe even 10. Like in the fourth quarter, I think the Jets ran 4 plays. That was it. Like we basically just kept the ball because I'm assuming Bill Belichick was like, yo, Joe Flacco is lighting us up. We are not giving him the ball back. I don't give a damn what we got to do. We're going to hold on to this the entire fourth quarter. And it worked. Like we literally kept the ball the entire fourth quarter and just did not give it back between the running game and between the Jets getting in their own way to keep their defense out there even longer. It worked. Thank God. But again, Ravens this weekend. We'll see. We'll see. But it was nice to finally celebrate a win for the first time in a month. So, yeah. Moving on from that game to the Dolphins beating the Cardinals 34-31. Shaq, do you have any opening thoughts on this one?
Good for the Dolphins. Dolphins are actually becoming very competitive this season.
They are, which is so strange.
It's weird as hell. As much as I really don't want to hear from the Dolphins, but the Dolphins are making themselves really.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see them, like, because they have a legit chance in postseason.
If the playoffs started today, they'd be in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, when's the last time you heard Dolphins in the playoffs?
It's been like, I think over a decade.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It was very interesting. Granted, heaven forbid they face like a real ass team.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I don't remember who exactly like where they'd be positioned. I think they'd be like the first wild card team or something like that. But yeah, the Dolphins, they look really good. I'll tell you what, if I was in the playoffs, I wouldn't want to see them because they seem like really hungry and they will knock off a good team.
Granted, I might want to play like Steelers wise. If I was to play them come postseason, I might want to play them just to take that chance of our defense playing like a rookie quarterback. In that sense of playing that. Hopefully, he makes some rookie mistakes in his like first postseason appearance. That's the only reason. But like, if I was any other team making it, I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah,
I feel that for sure. They he looks good. Tua looks really good. Because the previous week when they played the Rams, he literally didn't have to do anything because the defense was so good. But this time around, I mean, he's playing Kyler Murray, and Kyler played out of his mind. He threw, I think, 4 touchdowns. Kyler Murray is ridiculously good. I got to give it to him. But Tua held his own, and only his second NFL start, and he held up to it and went back and forth and ended up winning the game, which is the most important part. So I give him a lot of props. I give Brian Flores a lot of props for coaching that garbage fire of a team to where it is now. And yeah, the Dolphins are not to be messed with, which is a strange statement to say.
The true question is, if Tua becomes real, does he stay in Miami at the end of his contract, or does he find another team?
Oh yeah, they're gonna give him whatever he wants. If he wants a yacht, a new house, whatever he wants.
Miami, right. It's just the fact that is he willing to make that choice? Like, do I want to stay in Miami?
Yeah, I think he will too, because I feel like that city, they've been craving a franchise quarterback like him.
Look at the stats, how many quarterbacks they've
Yeah.
through the past like 10 decade also.
Yeah, since Dan Marino left, like since then they've been surging high and low
About
for
10
that quarterback.
quarterbacks at least is Dan Marino, whereas the Patriots, how many quarterbacks have they been through the
Well,
past 10 years?
Now we're on our second. Yeah, the past 20 years, jeez. So yeah, I think this year the Dolphins, I think they're gonna make. I think they will make the playoffs. How far they go, I don't know. I can't see them going too far, but I think what they have proven in the last 2 years or so is that they are very effective in the off season. Like they can sign good players, they can attract good players, and they have been able to improve their team.
That's what happens when you end up finishing almost last every season and you have top 5 draft picks and your city just happens to be one of the more desirable cities in America. So it's kind of like it's meant to attract young talent to the city.
Yeah.
It's just a question of do they stay once they get there.
Yeah, I think now, because now you've got some incentive to stay. Now it's like, all right, we're winning games now. We're playoff bound. I have a really good reason to stay in the city. But, I think next year, if they can keep the trajectory where it's at now, like, they're going to be really, really good. Yeah, and the AFC East is actually going to look really legit as long as we can get our shit together. But, yeah, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, props to the Dolphins for beating the Cards 34-31. Moving right along to the next topic for the week, which is the L's of the week. One of my favorite sections of the show.
Boy.
Shaq, would you like to start us off with the first L of the week?
The Lions take a clapping from the Vikings, 20-34.
Sucks to suck. Matt Patricia, I don't understand how you still have a job in Detroit.
I feel like it'd be easy to get a job in Detroit.
They're probably keeping him there because nobody else wants to come take the job. But right, I'll move to Detroit. I'll take that salary. But yeah, I will give the props to the Vikings. They're trying to salvage their season. We'll see. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say, but we'll see. They have a really talented team. It's odd that they even find themselves in this situation to begin with. But Lions, y'all can forget your playoffs hope. You could have forgot them 10 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the next L?
Seahawks get worked by the Bills, 34-44. Paper thin defense. The Seahawks let the Bills run 44 points up on the dome.
They did. Yeah, I mean, you get that many points hung on you. I think this wasn't Buffalo, but regardless, it doesn't matter. They got to do something with their defense because come the postseason, they're at extreme risk of getting knocked out in like the first round.
I don't care how good Wilson is. If the defense is allowing every single team to run up their cheeks with points, just
right. If you can't stop a paper airplane, like there's. Again, it doesn't matter who you have on your offensive side of the ball. The defense has to make at least one stop. Like, come on.
We'll make them run down every single possession and score something.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yes. A great example. I will never forget Super Bowl 52, I think it was. The Patriots-Eagles one where Tom Brady threw for like, I think, 500 yards and lost. I mean, because the defense couldn't stop anything. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. And it's like, if we could have just gotten one stop, we win that game. So, perfect example. Doesn't matter what Russell Wilson goes out there and does. He put up 56 points and probably still catching L because defense can't do anything.
It's still always the dumbest games for me to watch. The quarterback put 400-plus yardage on the board and touchdown passes and still end up catching a fat L. All because our defense is just
awful.
Out there. It's
awful. And this is like now NFL offenses are almost all of them are just nuclear. So you got to be able to stop somebody. So I don't know what kind of moves they can do. I mean, at this point, free agency window is done. Right. I don't know if you just got to completely throw out your defensive game plan, start from scratch. You got to do something. If you can't bring in a free agent, which I don't know who you would even get, but I like for just throwing out whatever game plan you have.
I want to pull people off like practice squads.
Yes, I'm like, listen, y'all ain't getting the job done. Next man up. Let's see what we got.
Keep matching shit up and keep switching around and getting different matchups in hopes that it can't get any worse. Y'all let the Bills so 44 points and y'all don't. I don't care.
Shit cannot get any worse. Yeah. Good luck to the Seahawks defense. I pray y'all get it figured out because I think I picked you guys to come out of. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anyway, that'll do it for the first half of the show. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with the predictions for next week. here. They're there. All right. I don't know if that's gonna make any difference, but Ryan, you may be onto something. Yeah, Buffalo's trying to stay on top of the AFC East. I'm gonna act like I'm. Keep going. Yeah. Anyway, and then the Cardinals are trying to keep up with the NFC West. So this one, it's at Arizona. Arizona did just lose. Buffalo did just completely blow out the Seahawks. Well, they didn't blow them out, but they won pretty handily. I think Kyler Murray is going to once again just do his thing, go crazy. I think he'll throw for like 3 touchdowns, just go berserk, and this time end up winning the game against Josh Allen. And I think they're going to win 33-27 at home. Who we got in this one?
I got Buffalo. I think Buffalo
You're gonna take Buffalo? Okay.
Feeling themselves after the win against Seattle, and they're gonna come out here and perform, and let y'all know that maybe we can maintain, maybe we're down to something right now. So, granted, it's not Seattle's one-fly defense, but I see them being up by about 2 touchdowns this game, and I see it.
Do you have a score prediction?
I want to say not 2 touchdowns. I'll just say about 27-14. Around there.
27-14. Okay, so you think they'll win pretty handily. All right, fair enough. We shall see on that one. And then about half an hour later, the Niners at the Saints. At 4:30 Eastern time. So the 49ers are still trying to stay in the playoff hunt, and the Saints want to stay on top of the NFC South because they want to hold off those Succaneers beneath them. They're going to be at home. They're feeling themselves coming off that big win. And I think the Saints are going to keep their momentum going for now, at least. And I think they're going to beat the 49ers 27-20. Who you got in this one?
I definitely still see the Saints doing their thing and getting another win. And they want to secure their spot, make sure there's no ifs, ands, or buts come late season about this.
Right.
Maybe give some Drew Brees some little bit of rest come towards the end of the season, maybe, depending on how far ahead they are. And
something tells me they won't get that opportunity due to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But
I could say around the same score, 27-14 with them. I see it.
Okay. Fair enough. The next game, we've got the Seahawks playing the Rams at 4:30 as well. With the Seahawks coming off that pretty bad loss to the Bills. This is a divisional game for them. I see them beating the Los Angeles Rams to hold their spot on top of the NFC West. They'll make their adjustments. They'll go to LA. And they'll take down the Rams in a tight game because their defense cannot stop a nosebleed. So I think they'll end up winning 28-24 against the Rams.
I say 17-21 gives to Seattle. Of course, their defense could be shit shot. See them doing some sort of late field goal bullshit and winning. But as you can see, their defense can't stop a damn thing. It's going to be able to Russell come some late possession to come through.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So I think we got all the same picks besides Buffalo and Arizona. All right. So we will see what happens there. So we're going to move to the last topic of the day, which is the FanDuel fantasy lineups. This episode is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel for sponsoring the show. Also, Pure Leaf Creations for sponsoring the show. And also for Blue Moon Mango Wheats. Have a glass of this to refresh your holiday evening. I was going to say
Pure
summer.
Leaf,
But
definitely a big sponsor in the group.
Right.
Us, Heavy Heart, follow on Instagram.
That is the biggest sponsor of the show right now. At Pure Leaf Creations. It's PURELIEF Creations on Instagram.
Follow Heavy.
Correct. So yeah, for the FanDuel Fantasy Lineups, this is the show where we give you the best lineup to pick for your FanDuel Fantasy team.
Except one.
Folks, if you picked our lineups, both of our lineups last week, you did not win anything. I was kind of trying to go back, and I believe we're 2-2 with our picks since we started doing this. So it's back and forth. We win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So by math, we're gonna win this week. So this is a great week to pick our lineup on FanDuel. So yeah, we always pick for the Sunday, like the main time window, the 1 o'clock time window. So we pick a full roster. Just follow along with us. Fill out. I recommend you pick both of our rosters. You may win double the money. I mean, why would you not?
Perfect recipe for success and money. Maybe you can call up for it that Monday morning.
Yeah, exactly. If you bet big and you're like, I don't have to go to work this week, man.
Exactly. Let this job. Don't do that.
Because the next week you will lose.
Exactly.
Yeah, Shaq, do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Did I go first last week?
I think you did. So I'll go first this week. All right, so here we go, folks. I'm going to give you this death lineup, this absolute Warriors 2017 lineup, this Patriots 07 lineup, this Lakers 01 lineup. This is the lineup to take down your 190,000 other opponents on FanDuel on Sunday afternoon. So I don't remember the exact contest that I entered on FanDuel. I'll find that here in a second. But anyway, my starting quarterback this week is none other than Tom Brady playing the Carolina Panthers at Carolina. Tom coming off of one of the worst games of his career. Historically, he does not have two bad games in a row. In fact, he usually will follow up a really bad game with a really, really, really great game. So I'm going to stick with that logic, and I think he absolutely destroys the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. So I'm saying go ahead and pick up Tom Brady. Spend that, I think it's like $7,000 something to get him. But yeah, $7,800 to go get Tom Brady. So that's my quarterback. My first running back is Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. They are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Aaron Jones is a great running back, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are not great. I would highly recommend you spend the budget on him. He is $8,800. The Jags defense against the run is ranked 27th. So definitely go ahead and pick up Aaron Jones. I think that's going to be a point factory this week in Aaron Jones. Moving on to my next running back, I've got Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team. They are playing in Detroit against the god-awful Lions. I would highly recommend you go ahead and pick up Antonio Gibson to give you a solid amount of points. Probably not going to blow the doors off because he is a member of the Washington football team, so nobody's blowing off any doors over there. But they're going to rip those doors off the hinges. But, you know, probably maybe a dozen points if we luck out. Next up, my first wide receiver, I've got Robert Woods of the LA Rams playing at home against the Seattle god-awful defenseless Seahawks. Your offense is great. Offense is great, but the defense, folks, go ahead and get you Robert Woods. I think he's 7,200. Pretty good middle of the road receiver. I think he's gonna have a pretty good game. I say he gets about 15 points this week against that defense. Yeah, go ahead and get Robert Woods. My second wide receiver is Antonio Brown. I'm going to follow up my logic with Tom Brady. I see pretty much every single Buccaneer playing a lot better than they did last Sunday. So I think Antonio and Tom have been at home all week in their PJs and sleeping bags.
Middle of some sort of Tampa suburban home in some sort of pajamas just plotting out.
Tom's wife has been sleeping on the couch or something for the past month.
Big spoon, little spoon. Talking about football for the past couple of weeks.
They're up in the bedroom with some big whiteboard and they're like drawing all these different plays. They're finally figuring it out.
The wife doesn't have like cushions on the couch because they built some sort of fort.
They've got their fort upstairs. Yeah, I think AB and TB have figured something out, at least against the Carolina Panthers. They cooked up something strange, and I think it's going to work this coming Sunday. So go ahead and get Antonio Brown. He's only 6,500. I say Antonio's going to have at least like 17, 18 points. I think he's about to ball out, catch a touchdown pass, probably have over 100 receiving yards this coming week. Antonio Brown, please play well because I'm talking you up right now. Next up, this is my dark horse pick for the week, folks. I've got Emmanuel Sanders of the New Orleans Saints for the low price of $5,800. Very, very, very budget friendly. Man had he's been a really like kind of under the radar player. He's had 13.5, 12, 18, and 11 last week. So he's been consistent, putting up points. Has not really had a bad game yet. Can't possibly have a bad game this week, folks, because I'm picking him. So why would he? They're playing the San Francisco 49ers at home, and I think that he's going to continue that performance and probably have around 14, 15 points this coming week. My tight end, you probably guessed it, I've got Gronk against the Panthers. Gronk is, FaceTimed into AB and TB12's little sleepover, and they were like, "Yay, Rob, you think you could run this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." And like, oh, "Okay, bet, man. All right, we'll see you on Sunday." He just hangs up and he's like,
upset just looking at his bed next to him.
This empty bed. And Antonio gets up and he's like, "I can't wait for this." Strangest thing ever. Why are you guys living together?
You guys are worth millions of dollars. I'd book room in it.
AV, you cannot be that misbehaved that you need a 24/7 babysitter.
Ubering back home from the games together too, sharing an Uber.
I guess for whatever reason they don't drive. Anyway, where did I leave off? All right, my flex. I've got Ronald Jones of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't need not to explain this again. I think they're all going to do really well, so pick up Ronald Jones. And then my last pick, I'm going 2 weeks in a row. Get the Steelers defense. They are playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and need I say more? Yeah. That is my my FanDuel lineup. Feel free to pick every last player, and then after you do that, go ahead and pick Shaq's lineup.
Yep. Here's my wonderful sketchy lineup. Taking all sorts of risks this week, and hopefully things work out well. A quarterback, I pick Jared Goff. I'm just hoping that paper-thin Seattle defense really does carry over to this week, and this man throws like a god this week.
Let's hope he plays like Jared Goff and not Jared Goff.
One can only hope. As I'm saying, y'all call me crazy now, but
man, when you got that nice FanDuel check in your account,
exactly, you be like, Shaq, what's next week's pick? Just saying. For my first running back, I pick Connor. They run against Cincinnati Bengals. I'm hoping they put him out there, just run holes to that defensive line.
I would sure hope so.
I hope so. For my first one, I picked second running back, DeAndre Swift. Kind of a throwaway filler, need the budget, save the budget. But he's going out there playing versus the Washington defense. So,
right.
We'll see. For my first receiver, DK Metcalf.
You're going with DK again.
So even though the defense is paper thin, they're working.
Yes, the offense is where it's at.
I'm seeing he be working. My second receiver, Antonio Brown. Like I said, going off of that logic of can't be bad 2 weeks in a row.
True that.
This man has a point to prove. He only has a 1-year contract. He gotta make himself look good.
That is very true.
At least 100 yards. Cooper Kupp.
Oh yeah, Cooper Kupp, my guy.
Exactly. Played against Seattle defense.
He sure is.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that this is the week to be let people know that you still have hands. I guess I don't understand. Tight end Henry.
Okay, of
Henry.
the Raiders, I think.
Yes, they're versus Miami. If I'm not mistaken, I'm hoping Miami defense just
Decides to stay home.
exactly. I'm hoping Miami can't be this consistent all season long, can they?
Shaq is hoping for a off week.
I'm hoping for a typical Miami. And then for my flex, I picked Fournette in Tampa Bay.
All right.
I'm hoping Tampa, like I said, balls out. This man runs holes through these people. So, you never know. And this is a very interesting defense. I picked this wonderful Saints defense.
They're playing Niners. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that maybe this will, some of these players like Connor, Metcalf, Antonio, these type of people blow out this type of weekend.
Yeah.
Got some extra money in my pocket to ball out.
Right.
All I'm saying is that if this does really well, I won't have a fan duel next week. I'm cashing out on the Stalin. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't look.
Yeah, we picked kind of similar logic on the lineups, especially with Tampa, which we'll see. Hopefully they don't let us down, because then we're both.
Can you imagine Tampa getting blown out 2 weeks in a row? It's kind of like you go to Tampa to run Tom Brady's.
Right.
You can't do bad 2 weeks in a row. Everyone comes here and falls apart.
We both picked a Los Angeles receiver because they're playing the Seahawks, so got pretty good faith on that one.
I'll pick something Steelers, because
We did,
Steelers
yeah.
this year are feeling themselves for some odd reason.
Right. So yeah, folks, pick up both of these lineups. It will be on our Instagram, which is at AFR Sports. That way you can, in case you hear it, in case you don't hear very well, you can read it, and then there you go. Because I don't know how else we got to say it. You want us to take your phone and do it for you? Like what?
I mean, we can just send your phone to this address, and we'll handle that for you. If you have a Samsung, your phone will be sent back to you.
Sent back in pieces.
Exactly. I'm saying we have wonderful staff here.
We do.
Exactly. You got Shaquille Brown, Jalen Brown. We got an engineer, Morgan Brown. It's all right. We got that budget. We got Pure Leaf sponsoring us right now, so you get.
We're hoping that Pure Leaf can increase the sponsorship checks so we can get a new audio engineer.
Exactly. We need to arrange our staffing. If not,
we need to make some big off-season splashes.
So everyone go to Pure Leaf on Instagram. Let them know to increase our budget. Just be in the comments.
Yes, go to check out on Pure Leaf. When you do check out, use the code AFR Sports for let's say 2% off.
Exactly. Just make sure you do follow and you support small black businesses trying to make themselves known in the wonderful Tampa Bay area.
In the post-Trump era.
Exactly. We're rough out there. Black businesses. Purely. Increase our budget to sponsor us. So, sponsor both.
Exactly. You're really killing two birds with one stone.
For the price of supporting one black business, you can support two.
Yes, without a doubt. Folks, we want to thank you all for listening, watching, supporting, picking our lineups. By the way, we don't get anything if you pick our lineup. Just letting you know.
Yes, we just like to hear your comments. Please comment if you do win anything off our lineups.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yes, without a doubt. If you do win anything, let us know. If you lose anything, don't let us know. Yeah.
Go Steelers. I'm sorry if Steelers clap your team's cheeks in the next coming weeks, but it's all right.
Yep. And if your team is playing mine on your upcoming schedule, I wanted to say you're welcome. And yeah, we'll talk to you all next week. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I have nothing else to say.
We'll be watching us at the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Okay. The parade will be running through Ybor City.
Mark my words, folks. If the Super Bowl is here, if the Bucks are in the Super Bowl here, we will have some exclusive coverage.
Absolutely. We will have some sort of coverage that week.
Right.
You might actually have two. Wednesday and then whatever day that Super Bowl falls on, you might have another separate coverage. So, like I said, front row seats.
Yeah, we'll talk to